And it's interesting that you introduced Brett Blackwell like that, Courtney. Courtney said with our financial advisor, Brett Blackwell, but I'm not sure if you are, and that's kind of what we're going to talk about today. Are you a financial advisor, a financial planner, an investment advisor, a wealth advisor? Sometimes it makes a guy's head spin. But before we get into that, before we get you to point us in the right direction, we want to talk taxes just for a minute, because obviously the deadline approaching at the end of the month, and for a lot of people, this is the time of year where the palms start to sweat.
Yeah, well, one thought I had was, first and foremost, file your taxes. Because especially if you owe money, because the government's going to charge you 1% per month, 12%. I think loan sharks can lend at less of a rate these days.
Yeah, no kidding.
Get them done, pay them. Pay it off, especially if you got money coming back, right? Yeah,
and I just wanted to ask you a couple quick hits here when it comes to taxes. You must see, I'm sure, situations where you look at people and you go, man, you're leaving hundreds or even thousands of dollars on the table. Are there one or two things that you think people should especially focus on come this time of year?
Yeah, I mean, my message, and last year we talked about this as well, was that for 80% of people out there, do your own taxes. Even if you want to just do them and then give them to the person that files them and make sure they're correct, you need to understand how the tax code works in this country. It is the single largest expense every Canadian is going to have. So if you don't understand what the tax-wise option is in your daily spending, you're going to be leaving a lot of money on the table over your lifetime. You
were telling me very briefly in the commercial break here about the 80-20 rule, the way that you approach how people should take care of their financial planning, the perspective that they should have.
Yeah. Well, when we think about financial planning, for most people, we think about retirement planning. When we look at it from where we're sitting, it's all about taxes. Okay, again, right? That it's the single largest expense. There are tax-wise investment decisions and tax-inefficient investment decisions, and like I say, 80% of financial planning is just tax knowledge.
I think that would strike people. I mean, if you think about it, because you're always thinking it's at the end of my working life, what am I going to have? What's my nest egg going to look like? And you're talking about tax being such a huge portion of that. Before we run out of time, we have just about a minute left. We talk about financial planners, investment advisors, financial advisors, portfolio managers. People's heads spin when you're trying to figure out who you should entrust with making those decisions for you when it comes to those valuable dollars you do have to invest. When it comes to titles, financial planners, what are financial planners responsible for?
Yeah, so financial planners are responsible for what we're just talking about. Most of what they do is retirement planning, right? Like, how much do I need to save to get to this kind of objective in 30 years, that type of thing. So, they sit down, figure out where you're at, what you need to put away, what the best vehicles are, RSP, TFSA, to get there. That's what financial planning really is all about.
Now your job title, as I understand it, you're an investment advisor. Yeah. How does an investment advisor differ from a financial planner?
I'm actually the BT Wealth Advisor, actually.
You are? That's your official title, yeah.
So an investment advisor is really just focused on the execution part of the plan, right? So the plan is, we're going to put this away, we're going to invest, we're going to earn X. How are you going to earn X? That's the million-dollar question, right? And so it's the trickiest part of our financial plan is actually realizing a return over time. And that's what a good investment advisor does.
A bit more of a strategist?
Well, he's going to make sure you make that 6% or that 5% or that 9%, whatever your target is, over the next 30 years.
Okay, and finally, a wealth advisor then. How would a wealth advisor differ from an investment advisor or a financial planner?
A wealth advisor is just going to integrate both of them together.
Is there a risk
with the planning? Well, the risk with all of them is to make sure that they know what they're doing. But the risk with a wealth advisor is it's really easy to be, kind of a jack of all trades, master of nothing, as they say, right? So you got to make sure they have proper processes in place to do both properly. And at the end of the day, make sure, though, that they can handle the investments and they got a good track record and they can deliver on that plan.
There's nothing wrong with, do you ask for references when it comes to auditioning wealth advisors?
We're going to do a show on how to hire a good advisor.
I think that's a great plan. And also coming up in the next couple of segments with Brett Blackwell over the next couple of months, we've got to tackle this Bitcoin talk. People talking about online currency. It's very fascinating stuff. Great to see you.
Thank you.
Thanks very much. Brett Blackwell, BT's wealth advisor. You can find out more about what he does on our website under the Inside BT link. You'll also find the points he just made there, spelled out if you want to read it over twice. 6:28, we're back with news, traffic, and weather right after this.